Thanks for tuning in to the Lax Ref Podcast. You can watch this full show on YouTube. Just search the Lax Ref Podcast. Remember to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can also get this podcast on Spotify or Apple or wherever you like to listen. If you like what you've heard, please forward this podcast to a friend. And now for today's show.
Welcome to the Lax Ref Podcast. Introducing today's guest. With over 14 years experience, he is a top high school Delaware lacrosse official. Please help me welcome Mr. Chris Petrone. And now your host of the Lax Ref Podcast, lacrosse referee, George G.
All right, Chris, welcome to the Lax Ref Podcast. This is your second time on the podcast. Thanks for being a member of the show.
Sure. Thank you.
Great. Okay. I want to talk about today's podcast. I'd like to focus on something called the CBO, Chief Box Official. Have you ever been a box official? Have you ever been an official, et cetera? Have you been an official on the field when they've had a CBO?
I have not been a CBO myself, but I've certainly worked games with a CBO. Yep.
Okay. And what do you like? What are your likes and dislikes about having a C? Do you wish we had a CBO for every game, or are you not really a big fan, or what's your take on it?
No, I mean, anytime more eyes are on the field, on the players, on the coaches, the better. I certainly don't think every game requires a CBO, particularly during the regular season. We're lucky in Delaware that we've just now started in the last 2 years or so to get 3 officials on the field for most every varsity game, which is just so fantastic. It just changes everything about our role in the game. And then adding a fourth, a CBO in the playoffs, it just makes sense. I think it's a good add. Playoffs are a little bit more prestigious. There's a lot more going on in some cases. And so it's just nice to have another set of eyes and just have some more presence on the field.
Okay. Let's talk about last year, the CBO. You had said that you had a CBO last year in a playoff game, one of the tournament games. Tell me your understanding about the job of the role of CBO.
Yeah, so last year I think their hands were tied a little bit more. They didn't have as much sort of power as they have this year. And I don't know if that's a change in the rules or just a change within our association. It seemed like last year and prior years, they were just sort of there to make sure timing was going okay, that penalties were released on time, those kinds of things. And really, it's a tough position. I don't envy CBOs because you have nowhere to run, right? You are there in the box, just taking it from the coaches and hearing all the behind the scenes that we typically don't hear everything on the field. And so if there's a call they don't like or something like that, they just stand there and they just have to get yelled at. And it just seems like not a pleasant experience. You said, George, you have done it a couple of times. So I'm curious to hear if that's reality or just sort of my perception.
Okay, well, I'll take you through my history with the CBO. As a CBO, 1 year we were allowed to throw penalty flags for offsides, or whatever the CBO, whatever. I really like that because I didn't have to. If I was a single, I didn't have, or the trail. I know I had another set of eyes. That's all his job was to count. So that was really nice. Then that was a few years ago. Then they switched it to the CBO can do basically nothing. And that which brings me to today's conversation. I was upset when I heard that. They did that at the college level, and then the Delaware officials just mirrored the college CBO, which was you couldn't do anything. Couldn't call offsides. Couldn't call, obviously, you're not on the field. You can't call a violation. You can't call a penalty. But the big thing was you were not allowed to grant a timeout. Okay. So my comment to the president, I said, then basically you're just a water boy. You're standing there in the box and you're bringing the guys water at every break. It is completely useless. We neutered that position. So I was in a game last year and the team was calling timeout, and the officials, I was one of the officials, I was the single, we could not hear them. They were screaming and yelling at the crowd was going nuts. It was less than a minute in the game, and one of the coaches was calling timeout. I couldn't hear them. It would have been nice for the CBO to be able to blow the whistle and call timeout. So, which brings me to a couple of weeks ago, at the University of Delaware, Princeton is playing Penn State with, I believe, about a minute 20 left in the game. Minute 20 left in the first half. The Princeton player's stick breaks. Princeton's on defense. Penn State's on offense. The Penn State player takes a shot. The Princeton stick breaks. The ball goes out of bounds. So now the player turns and starts running to get off the field. So the Princeton coach starts screaming for timeout. He ran all the way down the field in front of the Penn State box, in front of the Penn State team, screaming, timeout, timeout, timeout. The officials never heard him. They inbounded the ball. It was after a shot. They did a quick inbounds, shot on goal, and they scored. The Princeton coach went ballistic. And he should be able to yell and scream and get upset. What I was shocked about is the CBO was standing right next to him as the coach was going nuts.
Guy was born a Jet fan, poor kid. Nah, he's a Ravens fan. He's become one, he said. Ravens and Orioles.
John Danowski's a big Giants fan, obviously, with his dad having...
Madeline's on the field, wants a timeout. Look at him, he's past the 40-yard line.
But Robertson scores. That's 2 for Chase Robertson. And Penn State gets one back, and Madeline is livid.
Coach Madeline senses chaos. He runs out onto the field 10 yards past the midfield line in front of Penn State's bench to try to get the attention of the officials that he wanted a timeout. He doesn't get it. Penn State connects.
But that timeout had to been 10 seconds prior, because once Penn State has the ball, he wanted it off the dead ball. The only time he could call timeout prior to Penn State getting into the offensive frame.
Now that that crew was very fortunate, because the game ended up where Princeton won by maybe 1 or 2 or 3 goals. I think it may have been they won by 2 goals. So it didn't affect the outcome of the game. But that could have very easily affected the outcome of the game. There's absolutely no reason why, in my opinion, why the CBO should not be allowed to grant a timeout. That's my feeling. So I called the president of Delaware Association. We were talking about it, and he allowed this year for the box official during a dead ball to grant the timeout. What's your feelings on that?
I think that's a reasonable. I think it's a reasonable duty for the CBO. I think live ball play is completely different. So. Mm-hmm. When an on-field official hears that timeout from a coach, all sorts of things are clicking through your head, right? Is it who has possession? Where is possession? Have they done? Have they got it out of the 20? Do they have a new 10? Sure. Like what's so all that stuff has to play in your head, and so a CBO and in our rules this year, a CBO can assist a coach with calling a live ball timeout, which I think is reasonable.
Okay.
So that the on-field officials can know how to set the field up when the timeout is expired. And so I think that makes sense. And I like this year that CBO is allowed to call a dead ball timeout, because you don't have all those things clicking in your head, right? It's a dead ball. So it doesn't matter who has possession. It doesn't matter where the ball is, like those kinds of things. Like we have to remember certain things, but we don't have to get into all those other caveats of play. And so I think it makes sense for a CBO to call a dead ball timeout and then assist the coach with calling a live ball timeout. So like you said, sometimes it gets super loud and you just can't hear. The on-field officials just can't hear the coaches. In some situations we know, and I think this is what makes a really good official is anticipating when you think a coach is likely to call a timeout.
Right.
And that way you're listening for it, right? You can put one of the on-field guys, usually the trail, in a position to hear when that timeout's going to be called. You know, change of possession on a tie ball game or a one goal game. You know it's coming, right? It's going to come, and so allowing that official to sort of be on the field in a position where they can hear it. And if they can't, it's so loud and things are so crazy, or it's just an unanticipated timeout, then the CBO can assist and say, can potentially come on the field and say, hey, George, timeout, timeout, timeout. And it gets recognized and the play is saved.
Right. I think, let's go back in history. Do you remember the college before they had the instant replay or the review? I don't know if you watch a lot of college lacrosse, but they now have what's that?
I used to. Don't have much time for it now.
Well, sure. They recently, within the last couple of years, they are now allowed to review a play. Are you aware of that? They make the symbol of a square, right? They're allowed to review.
Yeah.
That came as a result of a Penn State semifinals. Penn State was in the Final Four. They shot on goal. It was a crease violation, but both officials, the trail and the lead and the single, were screened, and they could not see the crease violation. So they awarded the goal. It may have been overtime. It may have been, and they awarded the goal, and Penn State ended up losing. Now the problem is that they didn't have instant replay. The following year, they implemented instant replay so that doesn't happen again. I have a feeling that they are next year that the NCAA officials will start to allow the CBO to call timeout because they had a near disaster. They had a near disaster during the Princeton Penn State game. It was absolutely terrible. The Princeton coach, who does not yell a lot, doesn't scream a lot. He's not one of these guys that rides the officials. He threw his hat on the ground. He threw his sunglasses. He was throwing a fit because he was calling timeout and no one was granted him.
Right.
While the CBO was standing right next to him.
Sure.
I think that, that's got to be addressed. And it's nice to see that Delaware officials have addressed it. Have addressed it at least for this year, for the playoffs this year.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
All right. The next segment we have is something called You Make the Call. Okay?
Okay. Yep.
You ready? All right. We have an intro for that.
IBM presents You Make the Call.
All right, Chris, you make the call. You ready for the it has to do with a new rule. I'll tell you the story, what happened as we go through the call. Middle school game. The goal, the white has the ball, they shoot on goal, goalie makes a save. Okay. He turns, and so I'm the lead official. So I turn on, it was a 2-man game. I turn on my 20-second clock. The goalie outlets passes to the pole, who goes in the corner, fools around with the ball or something, throws it back to the goalie, who's in the crease. He takes the ball, looks to clear. There's an attackman in front of him. And he goes to pass the ball, and the attackman's stick hits the goalie stick. Okay? So what do we have? What would you do in that situation? Would you call a play on, or would you call goalie interference?
So the goalie's still in the crease, tries to make an outlet, attackman's stick is up, makes contact with the goalie stick.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Um, and it's a middle school game, and that plays into my decision.
Yeah,
I think, a
absolutely.
little bit.
Yes.
Because chances are that anyway, it's middle school. We have to have some more grace in middle school ball. Um, I'm gonna put my hand up. I'm gonna call a play on and just see what happens.
Right.
I think 9 times out of 10, the pass is not going to complete, and
Right.
so we're just going to
As it did
kill
not.
it
Go ahead.
and move it up as a goalie interference free clear for the whichever team.
Okay.
The goalie
Now,
team.
right, the goalie team. Okay. Now, I did that. I put my hand up.
Yeah.
And I realized that about 12 seconds had passed.
Mm-hmm.
So in that play on, what would happen if time had expired? My belt timer had gone off. What happens in that case?
That's going to kill the play, right? Because
Right.
that's gonna turn everything off. And we're still going to go with a free clear on that one.
Right.
I think.
What I did is I put my hand up. I said, play on. And then I realized about 12 seconds have gone by. So it's disadvantaging the team, the defense, or the team with the ball. So I blew it dead and said free clear. And I got home and looked in my rule book. And there's a new rule this year just for that. Page 45 in the 2026 rule book. Rule 4, section 13, situation and rule. Rule 4, section 13, situation and ruling. It says it has A, B, C, D, and E. It says a play on will reset the 20-second counter.
Yeah.
So when the team's on defense and our hand goes up for a play on, a loose ball push or a goalie interference, we're supposed to reset our timer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not know that.
So I don't know if you won't
go ahead,
be able to see it. So it's highlighted in black, which or in gray, whatever you want to call it, indicating a new rule. I have an asterisk and an arrow right next to that.
I can't see it, but go ahead.
Yeah,
you have notes
I
on
figured you
page.
couldn't see it. An arrow and an asterisk next to that as a point of emphasis for my own studying. I don't know that I enacted it this year, but I will. Now that we've had this conversation, George, it's going to be locked in my brain until it changes someday.
So what I say is, with the play on, nobody ever really gets angry when you kill the play and award them the ball.
Absolutely.
So if it's a loose ball push and you have a play on, if you kill the play and you give the guy the ball, or an over and back,
right,
and the guy picks it up clean, and someone's within 3 or 4 yards, killing the play and then doing a quick restart, you're not going to get yelled at by a coach. Yeah, because you're granting him the ball.
Yeah, and I think in most play-on situations, the offending coach understands, okay, we did something wrong. I think most coaches are reasonable enough to say, this situation is not going to get any better. So let's just kill the play and start fresh.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, on the over and back play on, how do you feel about when one of the team, White has the ball and it's going to, or White makes a bad pass and then Black is at midfield line. He scoops it up. He cleanly scoops it up, but there's a guy within 3 or 4 yards of him. What do you do in that situation?
Fresh.
Right. Again, no one got upset by blowing the whistle and awarded them the ball.
Exactly.
And then I thought about it. If I was a player, would I rather have the ball with a man on me within 2 or 3 yards?
Right.
Or have a restart and get a good 5 yards gap?
Yep. Yeah, so things are a little bit more settled. You have most of the time you have the right personnel on the field. So things are just it's more advantageous for the team to take the break, get the right people on, or a quick restart, whatever, and go.
Right.
And in some cases, that quick restart, if defense isn't paying attention or doesn't know the 5-yard rule, they end up playing the man right at the whistle without allowing that 5 yards. Then they just got a free man up situation.
Right.
So it can play into a lot of favor for that offended team.
Right. Yeah. So that was a new rule this year. It happened to me, and then it was a new rule this year. And since we're on rules, I'll throw one more at you that happened to me again. A middle school game.
Sure.
I must have had a lot of middle school games this year.
Yeah. Happens to the best of us.
What's that?
It happens to the best of us.
Right. Okay. The defender, there's a loose ball goes to the side or the corner or something, and the defender, the long pole defender, runs to try and get the ball, and he overruns the ball and is out of bounds.
Yeah.
Standing out of bounds.
Yeah.
And he takes his stick and swings. Again, it's a middle school game.
Yep.
Doesn't hit anything. Doesn't hit the player. Doesn't hit a stick. Doesn't hit the ball. What do you have?
Yeah, I mean, even though he's not made any contact or interfered or disadvantaged any team, I think by rule he's still playing out of bounds, and so we gotta give him a legal procedure on that one.
Okay. Good. All right. Now we have another segment. It's called the fast break, and we have an intro for that.
Hit me. Let's go.
The fast break. Go to the goal.
All right, and now we're back. All right, the fast break. Chris, this is fast questions, fast answers. You can elaborate as much as you want.
Okay.
The first question is over 85% of athletes have superstitions. Do you have any superstitions?
I definitely did when I was a player. In terms of clothing that I wore, I was not blessed with the facial hair things. I couldn't grow a mustache for the season or a beard or anything. That wasn't going to happen. As an official, not really. I think it's more just a habit than a superstition. But just and we've talked about this, checking 2 whistles, 2 flags, timer, and tape measure, just doing that pat down of myself to make sure I have everything.
Okay. That I call that good practices and not a superstition. But okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. What do you do with the money? And that's what I mean by that is we get paid as officials.
Yeah.
Some people take the money and they use it to pay bills, and they're almost like a part-time job. Some people will go on vacation. I used to ref with a basketball official. He'd take that money, and every summer his family would go on vacation. They'd go on the. Some people go, buy maybe a new set of golf clubs or something fun for themselves. What do you? We don't need to get into the details, but what do you do with your money?
It just goes in the. It's not as flashy as all that. It just goes in the general operating fund. That's about it.
Nothing fun. Okay. All right. Good. All right. All right. Summer tournaments. You've got a summer tournament on a Saturday. You've got 10 games. What do you bring with you to the field?
A chair with the cover on it.
Canopy.
Canopy. Yep. Cooler with water. A Gatorade for post game. I usually leave that one in the car. Peanut butter sandwich that I'll try to figure out the right time to eat it in quarters.
Peanut butter and jelly or just peanut butter?
I'm not a jelly guy, so just peanut butter.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep. And I started last year and I really like it. And I have either 1 or 2, depending on how many games I have, but Tupperware full of cut watermelon.
Yes.
For years and years, I brought cut apples, and I would eat them, quick sugar shot, whatever. But I've realized, I've read a little bit about the benefits of watermelon in general, but I realized that apples are a super dense fiber, And so your body's got to deal with that. And I don't know if there's even any science behind this.
I understand. Go ahead.
Super dense fiber versus a watermelon that's got obviously a ton of water in it, good nutrients, and it's not that real tight fibrous fruit. And so I've started to consume that during tournaments, and it's real nice and cold. Like it's quality. I like it.
Will you change your socks at all? Would you bring spare set of socks?
I bring them, but I don't know that I've ever changed them. We are very fortunate. Last summer, and I already got an assignment for this summer. Our assigner has blessed us with 2 games on, 1 game off.
Okay.
Which it makes for a longer day. You're there for 12, 13 hours, and not doing as many games. But that hour-long break is gold. It is a chance to find shade, eat, drink, a lot of water, and just sort of come down a little bit, cool off, and you're recouped for the next two games.
Yes, I agree.
It's crucial, I think, to our well-being as officials.
I agree. I also I like Liquid IV. I don't know if you've ever done that. They're not a sponsor of the podcast, but it's a Liquid IV. It's a powder. You put it in.
I think you gave me one once.
I think so. I have a bag and I put it in in my cooler. I probably bring 8 or 9 to a game. Now I only use 1 or 2. Like every third or fourth game, every third game I'll drink one, and then I always give them out. That's why I bring extras. It really makes a difference. It really, really does. I'm a firm believer in it.
Interesting. So. Yeah.
What's your feeling about summer league games? Do you are you a big fan of them, or do you? I mean, it's a big money maker. Are you a big
huge money maker? I am concerned about what it's doing to the sport to a certain degree and some of the players. And I think this is across the board with not just lacrosse, but certainly soccer and field hockey and all, anything that is played outdoors on these turf fields in a large scale format, I think can be dangerous to players.
Really?
I think
the wear and tear on their body type of thing?
Wear and tear on their body. Sort of, there's some mental health concerns in some of these cases where these kids have been out playing all day long, 2 or 3 games over the course of a day. Then you come back on a second day and you play another 2 or 3 games in 100 plus. I mean, easily 105.
Sure.
And I've seen younger kids, mostly middle school level kids, that are just exhausted. They're crying, which is concerning,
right?
Because they're just exhausted. They're hot.
Yes.
They're getting yelled at, so they're not playing. They're not playing their full capacity game,
right? So
it's a negative feedback loop where you just it digs on you, and so you start to play worse and worse, and you get yelled at more, and you're hotter, and just all that stuff adds up. And I worry about some of these kids sometimes playing these tournaments every weekend and in and out, like traveling long distances and playing in this heat. The heat's nasty, and the turf it just contributes to it.
Yeah. So. Okay. I don't necessarily agree with all of that, but I see your point. Yeah. We can go into that another time. We'll dig deeper into that. But the what I was going to say about summer tournaments, I think that's the toughest. Those as an official or as a new official, as a young official, those are the toughest games to officiate.
Absolutely.
And here's why. You mentioned everything, the wear and tear on your body. You're tired. You're getting drained. You're sweating, 100-degree weather. If you call it too tight, all the parents or the coaches are yelling, "Let him play! It's summer league! Oh, come on, let him play!"
Right.
If you don't call it tight, you'll hear them say, "Someone's going to get hurt! Come on!"
Yeah.
So you have to find that sweet spot between let them play, but don't let them play too much. So I think that's a challenge. That's number one.
Absolutely.
Number two, I think it is as an official, you have to be very careful not to pick up bad habits.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
I know that on my 12th game, I'm not circling it in with I'm just blowing the whistle and we're going, guys.
Right.
So you have to be careful to new officials to be careful not to pick up bad habits. That's number two. Famous saying that they say to tell teachers, if you tell me, I'll forget. If you show me, I may remember. And if you include me, I'll never forget. And so the idea is that if this happened to me during a game, I'm included in it. And I made the wrong call or I made the right call or I came home and looked it up in the rule book and found out that I made the wrong call or the right call or whatever. So, yeah. So that's why that's really the upside of summer tournaments. So I really like them. So,
yeah, it's you're right. I think it's a good opportunity to get more experience, practice certain things that you can do during the season, but it's a little bit easier because of the high reps in summer. But as you said, first and foremost, it's an opportunity to pick up bad habits. So we really got to be careful with summer tournaments because you can get, and it's not because we're lazy. It's just we're in survival mode in some of those cases where at the end of the day, it's 105 degrees. You're just trying to survive and not concentrating on, well, I should be learning this and I should be practicing this. It's like, just get through the next game.
Yeah. Yeah. I had an official a couple years ago. He was kind of a big guy. He was probably at least 30 or 40 pounds overweight. He appeared to be in his late 60s. And we had, I think, 10 games that day. And it was a hot one. It was going to be a hot one.
Yeah.
So we had our 8 a.m. game. I'm watching him, and he's sprinting to the end line. And I thought to myself, whoa, this guy, he might want to he might want to tone it down a little bit because we got a long day ahead of us. We're going to be here 10 hours. Wouldn't you know it, after about 6 hours, right around lunchtime, he sat down, he sat it out. And we had to radio ahead and had to bring in a substitute because he couldn't finish. And
I was just having that conversation with another one of our Delaware colleagues the other day about summer ball, and we want to do our best. Like we want to do a good job,
right?
And be in the right position and do all those things that we do during the season in summer, and we can get ourselves in a lot of trouble, just like your partner did. Like if you're trying to run out shots and trying to sprint in the hole to beat a fast break,
right?
You got to watch yourself in these summer tournaments, because if you're trying to do that every game, it's going to end poorly, and it stinks because we want to do our best, but with 8, 10, 12 games, you can do some damage, real damage.
Yes. Yeah. I think I think it was Bobby Gallagher said to me, we were doing a summer league game together, and I said, I have to drink a certain amount of waters after each game, or every other game I have to drink a bottle of water. Even if I'm not thirsty, I still, and Bobby said to me, if you wait until you get thirsty, it's too late. You're chasing it. You have to start hydrating before you're even thirsty. After game 1, after game 2, you're not thirsty because you've only been out there maybe 2 games.
Yeah.
And it's still cool. You have to drink, even though you're not thirsty, even though you don't really want to, you have to, because 2 and 3 o'clock, your body's going to be needing that fuel. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where those breaks are so crucial. It gives you that chance to, even if you're not thirsty, you have time to drink and just keep drinking and keep drinking and keep drinking. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. All right, Chris, I think we've said it all. Thank you for being a member of today's podcast. For those of you who like listening to the show, please tell a friend or forward it to a friend. If you'd like to be a member of on the podcast, or if you have some questions or topics you'd like us to discuss, please email at me at thelaxrefpodcast@gmail.com. This is George G on behalf of Chris Petrone saying thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys on the field. Take care. Have a good night, Chris.
You too. Thanks, George.
Have a good night. Thanks for being a part of it. Thank you.